But there is one thing that the others don't have. That is the notion of covenant. I need to spell this one out. In Islam, I'm supposed to surrender totally to God. Aslama. Allahu Akbar. Allah is greater than I am. And therefore I put myself at the service of Allah. And that's all that I can do, because Allah is not a begetter and Allah is not begotten. As it says in the Quran, Lam walad wa lam yulad, neither a bearer giving birth nor one who is born. If I go to Christianity, and by this I don't mean Matt Fox's Christianity, okay? I mean the Christianity of Augustine and so on and so forth, tradition of Christianity. I get to a place where I once was lost, and I can't do anything about it unless I'm found. And the way in which I'm found is if I take on Jesus to be my personal Savior, because I can't bail myself out. I'm powerless in that way. But that sense, the Torah tells us we are children of God. In other words, we have the same DNA the Ribbono Shel Olam has, you know, that we are also asked to enter into a covenant. And the covenant has a double side to it. As we chant on Rosh Hashanah Yom Kippur, Ki anu amecha ve'yata malkeinu. We are your people, you are our ruler, and that creates a relationship. That kind of a relationship is brought out because we have a root metaphor. Watch that word, it's an important word. A root metaphor. A root metaphor means a metaphor that's deeper than our way of thinking, than our way of feeling. But once this root metaphor is established in us, we have a relationship. And that business of relationship is what is so essential. In that relationship, there is this chutzpahdik moment, arrogance, this infinite arrogance almost, that we say that we can make a deal with God. And I like the way it says in the book of Devarim, Ani ha'emarti, atem ha'emartem. You have bespoken me, I have bespoken you. You get the idea, addressed you. And you know, I like the way in which the Latin helps out, because it shows me something still deeper about the root metaphor, which goes like this. How do I say to speak? Diction, yeah? To address, to speak to, addiction. So it is as if the Chumash is telling us that God says, I've become addicted to you, you've become addicted to me. And it's that sense that I like dafke about addiction. I can't live without getting a fix from time to time. It's almost as if I want to say, if I don't get called to the Torah according to Rabbi Yitzchak Luria at least once in a month, you know, I sort of haven't logged on, I haven't recharged what I need to recharge. That it is a very important part in that relationship. Now, the moment I begin to speak of root metaphors, a new category of thinking comes into my mind. And that is when you talk to people about how do you think about how you think. And they'll say that's epistemology. Epistemology. Most of the time, the epistemology is one in which I know things objectively outside of myself. What I'm trying to get us to experience and feel is participatory epistemology. That's a fancy word, but participatory epistemology. What I know not separate from me, but I know because I'm participating in it. Got that? So when I asked you before, how do you look at the 10 sephirot? The question is going to be, where are you in the 10 sephirot? Because if they're for real, they're not outside of us. We are inside of them. And that sense that we are inside of, and when we say God is makom, Ha-makom, we are inside of God. That sense that we can make ourselves present to God and God present to ourselves, that is what I hope us to work on. So that it becomes also experientially that. It's so strange. If I were to talk about Barry Barkin, Alta Barkin, and start describing him and say all kinds of things as if he isn't there, you know? After a while it would be such an insult. What are you talking about? I'm right here, I'm right here. Why do you ignore my presence? Now take a look how often we daven words, we talk theology, and we address each other and forget to address the one about whom we are talking. So the best way of doing theology would be saying like this: Dear God, let me describe you a little bit to those people who are here. You get the idea? It's like getting the sense of being Nochach Penei Hashem, in the presence of God. That part of placing oneself in the presence of God is such an important thing that without that, if that's going to be missing, you know, it's all going to be, how would I say? I'll say it in a gross way. Fritz Perls used to talk about different rungs of shit. He would say there's chicken shit, there's, what was the other one? Finally had elephant shit on top, you know? And I want to add another madrege, angel shit. That is to say, when people do the kind of talking that is the sephirot, atzilut, you know, this and that, and there isn't a sense of being in touch with that. Do you see what I'm saying? Then it's empty words, empty calories. And so that the point in which they begin to make some sense is to be able to say, what I'm talking about, I'm in touch with. And it's in the present, and God is here.